Restaurant staff recounts monster Meghan in New York, signs Harry suffered from marital violence. When will Harry realize that he's such a fool, or at least looks like one? Maybe right now? After all, surely history appears to be repeating itself in more ways than we mentioned in Santa Barbara news press. Most men would have got out of the relationship long ago. Apparently some bad stuff goes on behind closed doors, according to these photos from a recent magazine covering the dark side of the glitzy New York vanity trip undertaken by the Sussexes. Apparently, Harry wasn't happy about Meghan's $250,000 clothing budget for the 3-day trip. Let's take a close look at Harry's unsmiling face. Do we see a black eye? What about his left ear? And is that a scratch on the nape of his neck? Goodness me. Harry looks to be in need of some first aid. No wonder there was no show at the Carlisle dinner reception. Harry's facial and neck injuries are evidence that Meghan is a narcissist and she is subjecting him to physical abuse as well as mental abuse through coercive and controlling behavior. Harry is presenting behaviors linked to Stockholm Syndrome, which explains why he does not simply walk away from her. Unless someone makes a critical intervention into this sham marriage, it is reasonable to assume that it can only end up in a tragedy. It is difficult to understand why social services or their U.S. equivalent have not carried out a risk assessment into their 2 small children, and perhaps it is because of their assumed royal status. It must be time for someone in authority to step in and assess the potential harm within this apparently dysfunctional family, because Harry's injuries are evidence of serious abuse, in my opinion. At what point can the Queen or the senior royals intervene? How long is this man going to tolerate nutmeg psychopathic violence? The last time we saw a photo similar to this was in about March 2019 when they were about to depart from Morocco. The fight was allegedly over her New York shopping blowout. Was the 100,000-pound maternity caftan the reason for the first major fight that we know of? Clearly, Meghan is stirring the pot big time with her wild spending and is tearing into Harry the minute he objects. Okay, let's call it physical violence. Maybe she's trying to break him down to the point of retaliation. She wouldn't know when to record the event and call the police and lawyers. This sort of devious behavior is the sort of tactics I would expect from a psychopathic narcissist. Evidence is growing to support that Harry is in an abusive marriage, and that would certainly explain some of the jaw-droppingly stupid things he's said and done. Regardless of what we think of Harry's behavior towards the royal family, he may need their help in getting himself and his children, if they exist, out of a bad situation. I hope they may be and someone in the firm is paying attention to this and reaching out. Harry could be brought back for reprogramming and kept out of the public eye like his uncle Randy Andy. He is going to require major rescuing when she fully devalues him. The no-show at dinner probably was due to the black eye and facial injuries, because if she had told him to go, he would dare not to. Why is she so blatantly violent on his face for public display to humiliate him? And I thought she might just spank him on his butt. On second thought, she was doing that to humiliate the royal family. Look, what prince? I can slap him or scrap him any way I want, and you all cannot do a damn thing to me. She's not only a slapper, she's also a scrapper. This behavior is despicable. Can you just imagine if it was the wife who had marks on her? Old Harry would be absolutely and rightfully vilified, and would probably find himself in prison. So why is it that she's not, especially given all that we suspect her to be the perpetrator of this intimate partner violence? She is, without a doubt, a violent, nasty bully. I pray that they don't have any children in that house with them. Intimate partner violence is never okay. On the other hand, for months, sources close to the Duke and Duchess of Hypocrisy have whispered that the couple was preparing to enter, quote, a new era of visibility. And they weren't wrong. Following the birth of their daughter Lilibet in June, Meghan and Harry returned to public life with a bang when they jetted to New York City for 3 packed days of public appearances. A source said to us, since the Oprah Winfrey interview, Harry and Meghan seem to spend an inordinate amount of time discussing the flaws of their respective families, more so Harry than Meghan. Meghan does get in sneaky digs at Her Majesty and other members of the royal family. As a result, it appears their popularity is waning, even in the U.S. Some of their former friends appear to have withdrawn. Those friends, no doubt, are worried about an invasion of their privacy should their friendship with the Sussexes sour. They recognize the constant vilification of the royal family for what is bitterness at being asked to step down from their senior roles. And last week, the couple's trip is divided opinion, with some complimenting the Sussexes' efforts, but the majority criticizing the expedition. From all appearances, Meghan is trying to install herself and Harry as royalty here in the U.S. It wasn't privacy they sought. Meghan just couldn't handle the reality that she would never rise above her designated station among the royals and would always be perceived to be less than Catherine. I would have to be paid big money to see the look on Meg's face when Catherine walked in for the premiere of the new James Bond movie, looking like she did. No amount of money, plastic surgery, expensive but hideous clothes can make an ugly person pretty. Beauty may only be skin deep, but the ugly is through the bone. Sources say the couple hit the bar at the swanky Carlisle Hotel each evening, including a martini-fueled night spent with Meghan's bestie Misha Nanu and her husband Mikey Hess. Princess Diana's former bodyguard, Ken Worf, has also weighed in on the couple's trip, telling New Idea it was a farcical if Harry and Meghan had protection from New York police or Homeland Security. He added, this was always her motive, create her own royal court, Hollywood style, except it's backfiring on her and the hapless husband. Her only play was to uproot her household to create a royal household here. The sooner the media and city leaders realize they're not royalty, the sooner we'll all get past this. She wanted the limelight and was so delusional that she thought she would be more popular than the Queen, and Meghan Markle would call the shots. Yes, her dream was then to build the American royal family. So Meghan Markle is branding herself as an American royal that we all know within months will be obvious to her that she's failed again. Meghan Markle could have spent $1 million on a wardrobe for 3 days, as she has no style, no class, and obviously no one to help her know what looks good on her and what looks baggy and badly fitted, or even not quite right the outfit for a stage appearance. Meghan Markle is in desperate help and needs help to learn how to dress properly and what is too long or baggy, etc. You can marry a royal and learn how to be a royal. Meghan Markle missed that step. It's a shame. I feel sorry for her ignorance and arrogance. They are more than just two bitter people. They're people moving on with their lives by bringing others down to their level. It is part of their plan to reach out, to rough up someone, and to discard them into the garbage. Meghan doesn't want to be royalty. As an American from LA and La La Land, she doesn't know how it works. But she's lived in a wolf-eat-wolf society where you do everything and anything just to be famous and stay in the spotlight. And it's obvious to me that she doesn't even realize that having a husband should mean to slow down and do not disgrace yourself in him. She doesn't care about the effect on him. She is desperate to become someone of importance. They want to change people's reactions to the royal family. By telling their stories, they want sympathy. Instead, they're receiving backlash for their brutal takedown of the royal family. Everybody loves the Queen, who is getting the most support from their relentless criticism. She has the most sympathy towards them, along with her son, Prince Charles. Prince William stands alone in his beliefs of not giving them second chances.